You can absolutely do that. So typically like our everybody just does the cookie cutter approach to pines. They just thin it when it's about 15 to 20 years old and then thin it again and all that. But what we can now do instead of just doing a whole cookie cutter approach, like do some micro clear cuts in the pines. Like it's not as good as you can do in the hardwoods because you don't have hopefully it's not all been sprayed out. Like hopefully you do have some trees left in there. Like even if it's sweet gum, like now that's your structure. Now we've got sweet gums as structure. That may be the only tree you have. It's what you see a lot of in pines. Um, Hopefully you've got like some SMZs or something like that that you can sort of set up off of that. So you can sort of set the travel corridor to be the SMZ and then just set bedding thickets on each side of it to where deer kind of run in the SMZ and you hunt the SMZ that way. The other thing is, we could try to create some transitional covers. Like, don't just cut everything to 80 basal area. We may cut certain sections of it down to like 40 basal area, almost even more like savanna type in some cases. And the savanna type part might be more geared for turkeys, but it's also some of your negative terrain where you're going to burn it frequently. It doesn't have a lot of thick in it. Now it gives you more access through the property, and you set it up that way so that you can have, it's a lot of summertime food to grow your deer. Whereas, if you have it in 60 or 80 basal area, in 80 basal areas, what most of them do, it's back to closed canopy in 3 to 5 years. Where if you cut it down to 60 basal area, it's more wildlife focused. You get a lot more of that herbaceous growth in it. And then clear cuts that are going to be the thickest part of the property. So now they're going to relate to that as more of like a bedding area as opposed to just being anywhere.
So also kind of my second part of a question is setting up bedding areas on a property. How do you go about if you're trying to be very strategic on placing them where you have either predetermined travel corridors or you're trying to make travel corridors?